What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're installing a pretty cool rock light kit for my Tacoma. As you can tell, I have everything laid out already. This is from Vic Off-Road. I'll have all their info down in the description. They have a lot of cool accessories for your vehicle, and this kit here is the 8-pod kit. You can also get a 4-pod kit if you'd like to. But just to look at this in a little bit more detail, you can see with everything laid out, this is pretty much the mock-up of how it's going to go on the truck. And of course, we'll show you all the details here in just a little bit. But this is the end of the light, and we have 2 lights per pod here. So I have 8 of them, and we have so many different colors with the app that I'll show you here soon. So you can pretty much put this whatever color you'd like to. And then to mount these to the truck, the kit comes with a flat version here and then a curved one. So just depending on where you're placing them in the vehicle. And it is a universal kit, so it can go on multiple vehicles. We're going to have to do a little bit extra wiring because of the length of the truck and the length of these wires. But we have a good amount for those back ones that are going to the rear. But we're gonna start off with the main harness. You can see right here, we have the positive and negative on one side, so that's going to the battery. And then we have all these split offs here for all the various lights. So with the length of this truck, I'm going to be placing that right up underneath the transfer case up underneath. We can send wires up to the battery and then the rest of the truck here. We already went ahead and mounted the entire passenger side just to give ourselves a little bit better of an idea of what we're actually doing. So starting on the driver's side here, we're using all the flat mounts. Again, just depending on what you're mounting these to. The round ones would have been cool if we mounted them to the lower section of my bumper there, but I want to hide all of these. So we're going to start on the driver fender liner here, where you'll see up on the actual wheel well itself, I'm just using a punch and some self-tapping screws, and this is where I put it on the other side. And then we'll show you the wiring here in just a second. I've already checked on the back side of this. There's really nothing. It's basically the empty space right here. So I don't have to worry about going up into anything. So with a little bit of pressure with this punch, I can make a mark where that screw is going. And then I can mark where this one is going. And so I can do all of this by hand with these self-tapping screws. I got 1.5 inches. That seemed to be plenty long enough to go through both the light itself and this mounting bracket. And so getting these all started. It really hasn't been hard on the other side, just again, depending on where you're mounting it. And you'll see of the 4 that we're doing on this side, one of them is going to require some drilling. So with both of those screws in, basically I was just taking the wire and hiding it underneath the wheel well itself. So that way you really only see this, and honestly you'll only see that if you're down at this angle like we are. So by fishing it back through here, I need to take the other end and put it on the back side of the fender liner, and we fished it out just underneath the bottom there. And pulling it out just like that, you won't even see the wire at all. So it was a nice trick to use that. And actually, you know, Brad, that is the spot that we cut when we were doing some of the CMC, the cab mount chop. I trimmed a little bit there so there wasn't any rubbing. So I think that hole actually has helped us out in doing this project. So with that out of the way, let me get up under here, where we went right up through here, and I'm gonna cross over the back of this cab mount here. And by fishing that up and over the top, you'll see it come out right here. And then from there, I'll probably go up and over the frame, and then following this set of wires here, I can bring it up and over, and we should have enough with that connection that I showed earlier. So we're trying to bring all of them to here. So you can see in front of the camera, these are all from the passenger side. We have the front there, and now this is the first one for the driver's side. And again, we're gonna mount them somewhere up here. So since this kit came with 8, we did 4 in the wheel wells, and we have 4 more that we need to figure out where to put. So as you can tell, I don't have a stock front bumper, so we have a lot of exposed area here that we wanna try to light up even more. So with another flat mount and this one, I have my punch. What we decided to do is we're only using one of the holes for this to mount it. So it's not that heavy, it's not structural, so it shouldn't really move. And we're gonna mount it on this flat surface right here. So that way it lights up in front of this wheel. Maybe you might see it glow through the bumper. So with the punch, I was able to do this by hand on the other side. Well, using the hammer, I mean, but. All right, and I got it through there. And with this one in, we will use the drill It's pretty much an empty cavity on the backside there. All right, and so that should be good right there. But now the fun part begins on getting this wire through all the way to where we need to connect it. So I'm gonna go up and over the back of this fender liner here that we actually cut. So as I fish this through the fender liner, are you able to grab that at all? And then we'll fish this through the control arm, the upper control arm, backside. Get it down through there. So with that one bolted in place, we took the wiring for it, went behind the fender liner. It's kind of behind the splash shield here. It goes behind the strut, around the other splash shield, and then we wrapped it underneath the frame, wrapped it through, and that will be able to connect to our main harness. Onto the back fender liner now. This one is actually a little bit easier to line up. On the back side, or at least underneath on my Tacoma, there's two plastic tabs there that I just used to basically center this. And the back one was just as easy as the front one, just doing this by hand. So just by centering this as best I can put this punch up and through it. Now we did have a concern if I was gonna go up into the actual bed, but there's a lot that we found behind this where the screw doesn't even touch. So just keep that in mind if you're doing something like this. You don't want to poke through your bed or have a screw poking out somewhere you don't want it to. And so with that one attached, this one was just like the front as far as putting the wire behind the fender liner itself. So I didn't want to pull anything out because I like everything to look as factory as possible. So this is actually helping us out a lot to hide this entire wire all the way along this back side here. So from here, at least on my truck, I have a body mount right here, and I've been taking the wire, putting it up through that or up above that. And then I do have the gas tank on this side, which just makes it a little bit trickier. But essentially I'm just following all these wires, basically running it down the frame rail itself. And I might zip tie it to a few wires up here if I need to, but I'm gonna fish this around the back side of the gas tank now. And then just run it along the inside. And so for this last one, we decided to mount it in front of the back tire because the other two we mounted in front of the front tires. And so there's this piece right here where I'll just show you with the mount. We're going to have to drill a hole on each side because unfortunately they don't line up with these two holes. So we'll be drilling them on each side. And that way this light is going to be facing basically where I am right here. And that way we can get all this light in front of the tire. I think it's going to look really cool. So as you're joining me now up underneath the truck, this is what we decided to do with that main harness. So this is, for reference, this is the rear cross member of the truck. So you can see we are just behind the front wheels there. And what we have done is zip tied this to this harness here because you can see there's some circles here. I was really trying to get it up inside here, but it's just a little bit too big. So we ended up just zip tying it there, and you can see we have the connections for all of the the driver's side coming right through here. You can see we actually were able to get the positive and negative to stick out one of these ends, and everything is nicely zip tied in place and all connected. Then over on the passenger side, same thing. You can see everything is nicely zip tied and tucked up nicely on the top of the frame. So from here, like I mentioned earlier, since this is a universal kit and the truck is pretty long, now it's time to cut this wire. I do have some 14 gauge wire that we can replace, and then we can fish this all the way up to the battery. So we will be cutting probably right about here, so that way we can save these ends and then put that extended wire in. And we have the wire going all the way to the battery now. Now we didn't show that, but what we did is we took those wires and we followed the one that you saw when we hooked up this light up front. So just going down the side of the engine and then all the way back to where you saw we were cutting earlier. So we already went ahead and connected the positive and the negative. We have everything zipped up and ready to go. Brian, if you can close the hood for me so we can take a look at our first test here. So you do have to download the Car Light app, and all of those instructions come with the kit. It's really easy to do, just download this app, and then it's Bluetooth connected to the lights. So you have a lot of different features that you can do. You can see you can actually change which lights you want to turn on and off. Right now I have everything just on this forward one here. And so if I push on, this will be our first test to see if the lights work. And we're gonna do a test during the night, so don't worry, we'll come back at nighttime. But you can see the front two are working. We have the two in the back here. And then as we come to the other side, same thing. These lights are on. You can see them a little bit better in the back since we're kind of away from the light there. But this is pretty cool because you can even go through the colors, and just by touching this color wheel, you can instantly change the color. This is going to be pretty cool. There's a few other modes you can do. You can do the brightness as well. You can also go back to your mode. You can have exposure, which I think is just, oh, there we go. It flashes a different color each time. There's even white, so if you just want to have them white, you can do that. And you have breath, which is kind of going in and out much slower than the exposure one. So this is pretty sweet with all the different things you can do. You have music, you have a few other settings. So fast forward to nighttime, and it is time to turn these lights on for the first time. You're seeing them before me. Does that look pretty cool?
It's a lot of light.
Even from the front, where we put everything. I'm gonna, I gotta get out before we see it on the snow because we won't have snow here very long.
They're like changing color. You have green and blue going.
Oh, that is pretty cool. Here, why don't it's changing colors?
There's two colors going.
I don't know what I have it on now. There's white.
Dang, that's awesome for off-roading.
That's cool. I'm trying to change the color. I'm still trying to figure it out here.
That honestly looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like pink is the way to go.
Should I leave it there for a little bit?
Yeah, that is crazy looking.
Huh?
That's so cool because honestly, if you're off-roading, that's gonna do everything you need to see what's going on.
That is pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So there we have it, installing this LED rock light kit for my Tacoma. I'm super pumped about this. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. I love the amount of light that we have around the wheels and the tires. It definitely looks really cool. What do you guys think? I'm excited to drive around like this. So again, huge shout out to Vic Off-Road. I'll have all their info down in the description. Definitely give this video a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date with our daily uploads. We'll see you guys in the next video.